Yeah, microphone's live. Welcome all to Stream 14 of, well, TechRat. The nest I've been calling it, but I might change the name. But tonight I'll be doing, well, part one of Llamasoft, the Jeff Minter story. Basically, a programmer from the UK who made quite a few interesting games. Tonight's, well, this particular collection, it's an interactive documentary and compilation of video games developed. It was created by Digital Eclipse. The release chronicles the software of Jeff Minter, British developer, and 42 of his programs that were developed between 81 and 94 across 8 different platforms. ZX81, VIC-20, Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, Atari ST, Conix, Atari 8-bit, Atari Jaguar. I think that was the 8. Well, plus there's supposed to be one remastered version. At least, no, that's what it is. And the collection features an interactive timeline, photographs, videos. This was released March 13th, a couple weeks ago. I was going to stream it last week, but, well, things happened. Life gets in the way. This was released on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. There's also supposed to be a listing of the every game that Llamasoft released within the collection itself, but not everything's in there. I kind of wish some of the later things were in there, but they're not. So let's launch this thing for the first time. Let's see what we get. Obviously, part of the Gold Master series. The first one was Chronicles, the story. Uh-oh, photosensitive warning. We can skip past it. Good. If you load up one of my games and see a big camel or whatever, you know immediately who created it. I've always tried to put a bit of myself into the games. Jeff Minter, he writes them to play them. Which is not wrong. If you don't like playing it, don't make it. I gotta admit, I did not play his early stuff, or at least not the ZX81 games. My first game from Jeff Minter was Gridrunner on a VIC-20 I had for like 3 months back in like 82 or 83, I think. Something like that. The last indie developer. Actually, is one of them. I think he's one of the last. I mean, not the last, but one of the last. Not a lot of people that develop on their own. Well, let's start with chapter 1, the early years. This is similar to other Digital Eclipse collections. Made up in sections, 4 sections. Early years, the hairy years. Oh my god, the Light Fantastic and the Tempest. A little percentage shows you how far you got through it. And of course, it's a nice timeline. Llamasoft takes flight. Jeff Minter, a self-taught coder with an innate feel for what made video games fun. Jeff wanted to bring the arcade action he loved to the home computers of the UK. Which, of course, you know, ZX81, Spectrum. Jeff Minter, fiercely independent designer with a lifelong love for pure gameplay. Got his own distinctive path through the video game industry, becoming a cult figure with a devoted fan base. We got a video. Not so much.
I can't think of Jeff Minter without the word legend in my head. He's been around the industry for many years and still makes artful games that have influenced a great number of people.
I always found Jeff and his games fascinating because, you know, Jeff was so distinct and it's just so unlike anyone else. And he's one of the true originals, like one of the true iconoclasts in gaming. Like there's no one else like him. Like if Jeff didn't exist, you'd have to invent him, right? Because someone has to be that guy.
There aren't enough people like Jeff. He is in his things. What he makes is him. What makes Jeff stand out, and what for me was the whole point of the artistry when I was younger, was this notion that it's you in the thing. It is an extension of you. It is a part of you. It is part of your character, your personality.
What he's making is stuff he makes out of love, and that's always been present in everything that he does. I think that's just one of the things that makes the games lovely, that makes the games are so integral to Jeff, and Jeff is so integral to the games.
Obviously, I was a big fan of Jeff from the 80s. I think he was one of the main reasons I got a Commodore 64 after having a Spectrum. After seeing, I think, Sheep in Space and Revenge of the Mutant Camels, I thought, oh hello, this is interesting.
It was this lifestyle, cultural choice that he'd made, which was so different to everyone else. Everyone else was just a company or a product, and Jeff was Jeff. He was in magazines talking about his life. He was talking about what interests him, what was different about the way he approached it. He was engaging with people directly, and Jeff was passionate about the art of making games, being himself, and if people like to pay him money to do that, fantastic.
The way he dressed, it looked a bit rock starish and hippie-ish as well.
He had long hair and a beard, and he dressed a bit like a hippie, I suppose, which I could relate to, because in the 70s I grew my hair long. Well, we weren't called, well, we were known as hairies then.
He always had those Peruvian jumpers and the animals in there, oh yeah. And the long hair and oh yeah, here he is. Here's the hippie. He had like an Afghan coat, with all sheepskin on the outside and the fluff down the front. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Very different from the other programmers that we met at those times. Very, very different.
It's somewhere between being very rock star and not rock star at all. I can't quite decide because he will just dress how he likes and speak his mind, and he's very lovely and very open to speaking with everyone. And it is very interesting to see someone who's never really fallen into the trap of wanting to conform to what the industry thinks anyone should be.
Jeff's always just made peace, I think, with living in the sideline. He's never given up on game design as a discipline, as a vocation. It's all very much work, but it is like, you know, this kind of peaceful kind of compromise between like, this is going to be the work, but I'm only going to agree to do this amount of work for something that I really love.
A bit tempesty when we're going into a tube. I do like the tube shooters.
I've been lucky that so far in my career I've always managed to work on stuff that I want to do, and I guess I just stubbornly want to carry on doing that really. I don't want to sort of compromise that in order to potentially make more money or whatever. I'd say I'm definitely off mainstream. I have kind of a tangential connection to the traditional game dev scene, I think. I want to enjoy what I do. I want to feel happy with the things that I've made, and I want to make things that I want to play with.
That was a pretty decent intro. A little longer than I expected, but That's fine. A lot of British people in there. Let's see what's next. Tadley, small English town, about 90 miles from London by car. Best known for its century-old tradition of making classic Besom-style brooms. Several which appear in Harry Potter movies. Also the original home of Jeff Minter's company, Llamasoft. Atomic Weapons Research Establishment. The town of Tadley is also known for being situated on the border of the Atomic Weapons Research Establishment, the facility in which the United Kingdom designed and manufactured nuclear warheads. Which expanded greatly in the 50s and 60s to provide housing for the AWRE employees, one of whom was Patrick Minter, Jeff's father. Okay. Behind the wire. This odd juxtaposition of a nuclear facility on the border of a sleepy traditional English town, what subconsciously inspired Jeff to create games that blasted rural farm animals into all out space wars? Nah, I don't think so. That's a speculation. Interviews. It was never entirely quiet in our town, even in the dead of night. The AWRE admitted a steady background industrial rumble at all times. And you can lie in bed at night and listen to the ticking of the critically alarms. The alarms guarding the reactors. Wow. I think that would drive me a bit nuts. Barbed wire. And you gotta zoom in to have these things check off from the timeline. High scores, the arcade of the late 70s, were catnip to Jeff wherever he could get his hands on them. There where he lived, bars in bigger cities, traveling fairs, anywhere. Interview. There was nothing in my brain that connected to video games and computers. Games were just black boxes that someone had built to do the things that they did by way of some kind of incomprehensible magic. And computers were things that sent you your gas bill. Camera Pit. Yeah. Released in December 1977. It's on MOS 6502 processor. Same thing that was in the Atari VCS. That was one of the first wave of PCs that began introduction began to introduce computers into the home. I can remember seeing these in the. God, I can't remember where I saw these things. I saw them in '77, but don't remember where. It might have been one of the school I was going to at the time. Possible. It's not clear. Quite expensive for most families at the time. Yeah, I can imagine. Built a monitor and whatnot. Learning the basics. Uh-oh. Nice senseless Sherlock. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, I haven't streamed in a few weeks. Just one of those things. Last weekend, I wasn't a stream last Sunday with this, but I ended up crashing. I'm like sleeping a good chunk of the day. And you and your Twitch notifications, that's you. You check your settings because Twitch sends them out. I know it does, because I get them for the ones that I got set up. Sounds like a user error to me. Okay, what do we got here? Learning the basics. Jeff was 16, went to sixth form college. The UK is the equivalent of the junior year of high school. It was there he first came across a student playing a game on a Commodore PET, who told him that he had typed the program in using basic programming language. Jeff immediately borrowed a book on BASIC from the college library and learned how he might create games on the Commodore PET. Interview. My brother had a TI-59 programmable calculator that came with a booklet of example programs. Flipped through the calculator programs to find something that looked simple. Then sat down to write in Bureau on a bit of paper, my first bit of proper code, porting a biorhythm program from the calculator to a computer language that I never used. Biorhythms. I used to believe in biorhythms when I was a kid. What can I say? Jeff's school notebook. Look in the Jeff's notebook from sixth form college, circa 1979. Boy, his handwriting's as bad as mine. Oh my god, I can't read that. Something dollar equals top of memory. Date at the start of text -1 end of array. I can kind of make it up. Peaks and pokes. First play. The first game Jeff recalls creating on the PET was an outer space action game loosely. Was an outer space action game loosely and unofficially based on Star Trek TV series. Graphics were entirely shown with text characters. Yeah, it was kind of Commodore PET back then. Crude, but for the time, what the heck? The original game is lost. This screenshot is a recreation. Oh well. I've lost some programs I wrote back in the very early 80s. It happens. Deflex. As Jeff and his school friends learned more and more about the Commodore PET, they created more complex games. One was called Deflex, in which the player had to control the path of a bouncing ball by placing paddles that would deflect it at 90-degree angles. Jeff would remake Deflex many times, first as an early Llamasoft release and eventually for iOS devices in 2011. The original version is lost. Another recreated screenshot. Honestly say, never heard of it. Interview. I had discovered the existence of screen RAM, and in doing so, taken my first steps towards real understanding of how the machine really worked, and away from the limitations of BASIC. Starfire. Yes, Magnus opus of the college's Commodore PET was Starfire. It was loosely based on the 1978 arcade cabinet of the same name by accident. Starfire. Sounds damn familiar. Yeah, based loosely off the Star Wars films. It mimicked the arcade's game's first-person cockpit view, but still needed to use the Commodore's PET's text characters for graphics. Or Pesky is, I think it was called. Or is called. Simple though it was, Starfire was was one of the first ever games that I found to be truly immersive. Sitting in the cockpit with the largest color screen filled with my view of the field. It felt for a while like looking out of a craft instead of a merely remote piloting one above. Starfire, the handwritten instruction manual for Jeff's version of Starfire. More than one page. Boy, that's... Ooh, numeric keypad movement. But that's the pet. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Screen drawing. Let's go back a little bit here. Some of these might be... yeah. This notebook. It wasn't multi-page. I should have known that. So he was in Pink Floyd, ELO, Gary Newman. Cool. Excellent. Sid Vicious. Sod off. Marco. Not sure what that's supposed to be. Scribbling. Machine language. Well, that's over. What did I leave off here? Sir Clive's computer. In early 1980, British inventor Clive Sinclair invented the ZX80, the first computer on the UK market that cost less than less than £100. While its capabilities were extremely limited, the ZX80 was very low cost, put computer owners within reach of the average family, and it was widely popular. I remember looking at it back then. Did not show an interest for interviews. At last, nearly 2 years after I just first set eyes on a computer, there was a real chance that I could get one of my own. The idea of having your own machine that you could use exclusively and never have to worry about the next person shoving you off to claim their time slot was tremendously exciting. I don't think I had keenly anticipated to purchase so much in my life. Oh god, there's a 680. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that drill on the top was for a heat sink, probably. Limited nature of the 680 made it a difficult platform for game programming, but that didn't stop Jeff from continuing to learn the ins and outs of the system. Yeah, I think the biggest thing with the 680 is, which was present in the ZX81, is it ran in fast mode all the time. So unless it was hard, displaying graphics would have been difficult. Yeah, ZX81, the successor. That looks very familiar. That's why I'm wearing my big C now. I'm wearing my ZX81 shirt. That was my first computer. Successor to the ZX80, at least as the Timex Sinclair 1000 in the US, was still a low-powered, low-cost machine, but it was enough of an upgrade that Jeff could finally get action games to run. In quick succession, he produced a version of Deflex, a Cyto 3D maze game called 3D, and an unofficial version of the latest hottest arcade game of '81, Atari Centipede, which should be on this collection. Llamasoft, on cassette. 3D. Jeff says that while the idea of it was quite cool, the maze was a cube. You could go through holes in the floor and ceiling as well as left and right. slow speed rendered it pretty much impossible to play by creatures with metabolisms that run on a normal human time scale. Well, it's the first game here. Let's play it. Big City 1, 1980, complexity 2 out of 5 llamas. A maze game with a Cycle 3 first person perspective. Maze is a cube. Players can climb up and down through its lasers. Beginning play at any time, press plus to access the manual controls and other settings. Let's go for it. Ooh. This brings back memories. 681. Black and white, no sound, crude as hell, and I loved it. I still got these 681. A couple of them in storage. Welcome to 3D, the most original 3D view maze program, presented by DK Tronics. Leaders in 6. Hey, why the hyper software? Press a key. Tip panel. What's a tip panel? Oh, turns it off on. 3D is unique in being the only program to present a 3D view of a maze which is itself three-dimensional. The program presents the maze in the form of a cube 11 by 11 by 11. You are placed in the lowest level 2. At the front, you must get to the exit on level 10. On the back wall, i.e. the Z10, Y10. A 3D view of your surroundings is generated and displayed along with your XYZ coordinates. Score is generated by counting your steps and adding various penalties for map reading. You may map read by pressing the question mark. And I'll see what the controls are with the joystick. Yeah, sure. I didn't play this game, but the main thing I remember playing on the 61 was Maze Dogs and 3D Monster Maze. I had a few others, but I did not have this. I wasn't aware of Jeff Mentor at the time. The map shows only the level you are on and your position. If requested, press any key. Orientation is absolute. You specify the direction you want to look by pressing 1 of 6 keys. So it'll just be the thumb pad, probably. Left, back, forward, right, up, and down. Remember, orientation is the absolute. To move, press the enter key. Moves you 1 step in the direction of your current orientation. Program can show 5 levels of depth. The exit appears as the only opening on the far wall of level 10. Turn to face it and press enter to exit. Program may be run in fast or slow mode. You may change the mode during play by pressing S or F. Pressing W allows you to have an enhanced display in the form of shaded walls, but they take longer to draw. Best instructions. Oh. Okay, plus button. Let's see. Instruction. Well, that's nice. Controls. Okay, use the stick. Left, right, up, down. Oh, it's using the right stick. Left stick is for down and move forward. B shows the map. Wall does wall shading. Let's do wall shading. Why not? Boop. Takes a little bit of time to get used to the orientation here. Of course, no sound, but location 742-842. That's a dead end. That's a dead end. Plays for a bit, but not sure if I'm gonna be able to finish this thing. D&D game. Wait, you talking about the LCD one? Actually, this reminds me of 3D Monster Maze. It's just, oops, a bit crude looking. At least I think it looks crude. Well, to a point. I wonder what the exit looks like. Okay, I've kind of gotten the hang of where you gotta beat a turn. I'm learning. Eep, dead end. Oh, seriously, another dead end. This is a maze. What's the goal? You're supposed to find the exit. You start out on the bottom and you gotta get to the top of the, like a 3D maze. Oh, that's right. It's 3D. Up, down. I'm doing this a bit wrong. I'm not sure how you see openings that go up or down. See, like here. Yeah, that went up. I'm on a different level of maze now. Definitely could take a bit of getting used to. Not just an old game, so I'm not expecting miracles here. Would be kind of cool to find the exit. Actually, I think there's a way to. There was a command, I think, to show like the map. B button. What was that 2? I'm on level 2. I gotta get to level 10. Press S for shafts. I'll say key shafts. Uh-huh. The goal. To escape. Get me out of here. So that goes up here. Even though that thing didn't change though. Still on level 2? That's confusing. It's a bit weird with no sound, but I don't mind. I'm not going to add background music. See, it looks like... See, it looks like a hole in the ceiling, but I don't think it is, though. Oh, I don't think I went up to shoot. I thought it did, but I don't think so. There's a shoot right there. To shoot, but as I can tell, I'm still on level 2. That's the part I'm not getting right now. I'm supposed to get penalized. Yeah, see, I'm still on level 2. So why did that shaft not seem to go anywhere? Check these controls again. Make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, left controls mainly for going forward. I'm assuming the 582, I'm assuming 2 is the second level, as far as I understand. Just trying to find a chute that goes up. Like there, is that a chute? It looks like one. See, I'm at 1010, which is right below where I need to be on level 10. That's the way I'm reading it. So it's hard to tell. See, that looks like a chute right there. Which I don't get, because I just went on a chute. I'm still on level 2. Why? Okay. What's else talking about? Wait a minute. What the heck? Yeah, I'm a bit confused here. So something went to level 4. I don't know how. That's weird. For that, I'm like, I'm losing track of where I am here. That chute going down. It's just a dead end. See, that looks like a chute going on. I can't tell. Top of it, not. Doesn't seem like it. Confusing. I'm not sure how long I'll keep playing this, but I can post a map again, but all represents passage upwards. Their key is supposed to show the graphics a little better. All shading. Didn't seem to do any. That's like, looks like I'm right on top of a shaft. Yep. Upwards. So when I try to go up, I'm not going up. That's confusing. Yeah, well. Yeah. You can't, well, that's not a game. This is just a simple maze game. It's weird because show shafts there, but that's a shaft down. Shaft up. See, it says up, but I'm not going up. Oop. See, I'm a little confused by these shafts. Oh, I want a shaft that doesn't go anywhere. Isn't that nice? I was stuck in a corner. How do I get back down? Okay, what was that? How was it? This is confusing here. Oh yeah, see, I'm on a dead end. Isn't that special? So how do you go down? I didn't see anything that said go down. Oh, up and down. Duh. Get me out of this stupid hole. Okay, that got me out of there. Phew. Well, It's a representation of the game. I think we'll hold it off here. I'm not worried about completing it. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's not 3D Monster Maze, but it's still pretty decent. But as far as for the stream, I think we'll hold it off there in regards to 3D. That game will take some time to get through it. Centipede. There you go. During the summer of '81, Jeff took a trip to London to the City Micro Fair. He didn't go with the intent of starting a business, but after he showed Deflex 3D and Centipede to a small publisher, they offered right away to sell his games under their brand. I got chatting to the bloke on the stand, and I happened to mention that I'd written a couple of games for my own 4K RAM ZX81. I have no idea how I got 4K RAM. Oh, this is not an emulator. This is the Jeff Minter story Llamasoft collection. 42 games represented. This is like a game in games within a game. It's one package. I want to know how he got a 4K RAM ZX81. I fished out a tape with the games on it, and we loaded them there, and then, to my utter amazement, he expressed an interest in actually buying some of the games off of me to sell. And right there, he gave me one of the 16K RAM packs to work with. Cool. Centipede cassette tape. This cassette label was used for later Llamasoft printings of Centipede. Yeah, cassette tape. That's one thing with ZX81 games I don't miss is using tapes. At least not with the... Back in '81, when I got a ZX81, I got a Radio Shack Data tape player. Made for data. I didn't find out till the late '90s that the tape player was a piece of crap. It didn't save or load very well at all. Very finicky. The reason I found that out is somebody gave me a Timex Sinclair tape player. I forget the name of the model. Like 1510 or something like that, but that tape recorder was so much more reliable than the old Radio Shack one. Don't worry about it, Sherlock. I mean, I might actually emulate 681 games down the line if I ever get my pocket of analog going good. Because I do have a 681, but I got two of them now, but they're not functional. The keyboard ribbon cable's cracked over the years, and you can't type anything. I do have a Timex Sinclair 1500 that's like a 16K ZX81 inside a Spectrum case. That might still work, but I haven't dug it out in a while. Tape player, yeah. Like I said, my original tape player was the original ZX81 was kind of finicky with tape players. But unfortunately, at the time in '81, I picked a really crappy tape player from Radio Shack, but I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I kept thinking it was just the ZX81 that was that bad at saving and loading. And it wasn't. To a point it was, but the tape player didn't help at all. If I'd had that Timex Sinclair tape player back then, the ZX81 would have been a much better experience. But yeah, the 81, it was finicky. But with my tape player, it was super finicky. Drove me up the wall. I lost a lot of programs trying to save them. Well, let's take a look at Centipede and the ZX81. Ooh, complexity, 1 out of 5 llamas. Wow. 1981. The unofficial version of the classic arcade shooter. Centipede. Ooh, that looks like kind of like a Dratapillar from Casey's Crazy Chase on the Odyssey 2. The first CX version of the new arcade game. Press the key to begin. Wow. All this text telling you how to play it. I'm not reading all this. Wow. Blah, 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 blah. It's Centipede. If you don't know Centipede, you don't know Centipede. Depends what the controls are. Speed. 20 slow, 1 blitz. Select the number. Let's go for 10. Number of bases. Somebody mean number of bases. I go for maximum 5. Prepare yourself. Ooh, what? Look at the speed. Wow. Okay, oop, there you go. Well, you don't move up or down, it's just sideways. Crude and rude, but hey, you know, for a first game, or one of his first games, it's not bad. Oh, you can't avoid it. When it gets to the bottom. 4 bases left, man. You score so far 60. Everything you dare to survive. Yeah, I dare to survive. Because I do. Yeah, this thing, you gotta make sure you hit it frequently. What you're gonna lose, and I'm not hitting it. No. Boom. Gotta have sound effects. Pew, 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 pew. 140. Wow. Going for a record score. Expect reinforcements. So. Sure, yeah. That's only I refuse to do with these. Oh, come on, man. I've seen people play old games and they add music in the background to liven it up. I refuse to do that. I think this is the way it was originally. This is the way it's being presented. End of line. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Ooh, now they're shooting at me. I won't deny, if I had this back in the day, I probably would have been a little disappointed. I hate saying that. Sorry, Jeff Miller, but it just would have been. It's not bad, but no, I'm not sure what they sold this for. But I suppose maybe one of them might have liked it, but maybe. It's not bad, but it's not great. Nice first attempt. One of his first attempts. Keep saying first. It's not the first. Yep, his pet games were the first, but oh, it's where you blow up like an atomic bomb. Game over. Oh man, 670 into your name of the high score. Wow. Let's see what you got. Oh, what the? Oh, got the first letter. What are you gonna do? I thought I got the first letter. It blanked it out. Copyright Jeff Minter. Centipede. Press P to play or any other key for instructions. P to play. I got a joypad. How do I press P? Gonna play again? Yeah, one more game of it. See if I can beat my high score. Then we'll move on to This next one, I don't know. Part of this collection is just history. So. Ugh. Hit it, man, hit it. Oh, come on. Clear the wave. Wow. I'm getting better at it. I meant to move at a pretty good speed. Oh man, I think I make it. Boom. Well, I wouldn't call it a stretch. It's like Centipede light. I mean, it's kind of like Centipede. It's a light version. You can't move up and down. And that's the main thing. If you made it so you can move up and down a little bit, it would have been so much better. So much. Oh, come on. Ah, I almost made that level. Like I said, it's not bad. I mean, I may have been happy, but I may have been more happy with this if I played it in 1981. But it's 2024. And I'm like, it's like, okay, it's a nice piece of history. Is it great? No. Is it good? No. Is it okay? Yeah. It's okay. It's probably be a really good challenge on the. Oh, jeez, Louise. That was nuts. Oh, 2 bases left. Yeah, it wasn't bad for the time for a home computer. Of course, honestly, I don't remember when Centipede came out. 81. So I don't remember when the home versions came out on other consoles. Like Centipede, like on the 2600, was actually rather well done. I remember playing it on the 2600, 5200, but that was a bit later in the 80s. I don't recall if it was on the ColecoVision or not. I can't remember. Mainly played this on the Atari 5200 because it used the rollerball. That's game over. You are defeated, Earthling. Did I get a high score here? Come on, man. How do you enter your initials on this thing? Into the character. There we go. Oop. Is it a lot of special characters? I don't know. Just leave it at this. Going. And that time I took the initials. Ooh, it beat me out of score by a lot. Wow. I'm getting better. Well, enough of that game. Like I said, not bad. First time. Whoop. Oh, I backed all the too far. Honestly, I gotta take a quick break, so because I have to. I'll be back shortly here to continue on with So meds, I gotta take them. Oh, oh yeah. One pill I take that's shaped badly. Hard to swallow. Okay, where do we go here? The early years. Oh, it goes right back to the beginning. Yeah, I can deal with that. Centipede. Kind of nice if it said how much it cost back then. But that's just a nitpick. Pericarditis. Carditis? Not sure how you pronounce it. In the fall of '81, Jeff resumed his university studies at Oxford Polytechnic with a plan to major in computer science. But his higher education career was waylaid again, this time permanently, when he collapsed one morning after commuting to school. He was diagnosed with pericarditis, an inflammation of the lining of the heart, and required complete rest for several months. That I was not aware of. As is the nature of such things, it was a lot more scary when I didn't know what was happening than it was once the correct diagnosis was made. Which isn't to say that it wasn't terrifying at times. Some nights I'd get a panic on, which I'm assuming means panic attack, and be sure I was going to snuff it immediately, which I would usually I'm not sure what. Someone's ahead of word. I don't know what the word is. Assuage by doing some programming. Programming was an excellent way to take your mind off scary thoughts and worries. Honestly, that's not a bad idea. Okay, here we go. The VIC-20. Although it was more expensive than Sinclair, the VIC-20 was still a low-cost computer with fewer compromises. It had a full-size keyboard, which it did, color graphics and sound, its appealing features and low price made it the first home computer to sell over 1 million units, including the Mentor family. I actually had a VIC-20 back then. I don't remember if I got it right away. I only had it for 3 months though. I did have one of Jeff Mentor's games on it, but the main thing that turned me off on it was the amount of text characters you could have across the screen was 22, which means you couldn't do any serious word processing or like work on it. To me, it was kind of more of just a game machine. At least that's how I felt about it. 22 character screen. I mean, the Z81, if I remember correctly, had a 32 character screen, which is better. Obviously, 40 or 80 was much better. I mean, it's still a decent computer, but nice keyboard. Compact size. I did like it. I didn't like it enough to keep it back then. I did miss the one Jeff Mentor game I got for it, but life goes on. Interview. A couple weeks after the incident and my diagnosis, my mom took me into Basingstoke to go shopping. Not that I could actually do any shopping. I just sat in the car too weak to even walk to the streets of Basingstoke. She returned to the car park with a VIC-20 package, which I lonely created on my knees all the way home. That's cool. Deflect X. The reason for... Deflect V. Not it. The reason for the V in the title may be lost to time at this point, but Deflect V is a straightforward, simple version of the ball and paddles game for the VIC-20 platform. Ball and paddles. Pong? I'm guessing. Well, let's check her out. a Vic 20 game. 1981, complexity 2 out of 5 llamas. Yeah, I definitely remember talking to you about the Vic 20 back then. I liked it. I mean, at the time I wanted to do like word processing and stuff on it when I had it. And 22 characters across the screen just doesn't work. I mean, you wouldn't get a good representation of an actual page of paper. And that was the main thing that turned me off on it. I wanted a computer for more than just games. That's why I had consoles back then. The computer was to do more other stuff. Let's see here. An action puzzle game in which you drop paddles on the screen to reflect the ball towards the goal. Deflex V was based on a Commodore PET game Jeff and his friends created while they were still in school. Deflex V. A dynamic game of skill. The aim is to demolish 15 targets in the least time. Deflect ball towards the target using bats on keys N and M. Beware of the placing too many bats. The result is a time penalty. Select the level. 1 expert, 20 easy. 15's okay. How do you done moving targets? No, for now, no. Whoa, what am I doing here? No idea. Ah, hey, that was kind of unique. Oops. Oh, it puts the thing where when it's there. This is an interesting concept. Not sure if I got it right though. Yeah, alright. I got it. Quick on the uptake on this one. This isn't a bad idea. It's kind of fun. I mean, I'll take this over CX Centipede. Sure, I got you. Oh, gotta be kind of quick with it though. Yeah, oh yeah. Ah, damn it. Bit of difficulty with the timing here. Damn it. You can't delete paddles once they're on there, they're on there. There we go. Darn. Well. There we go. Bang, bang. I got it from the screamer. Some of this should just work by default. Maybe not, so. Missing it by like 1 square. Get up there. There you go. I think it was 2F. I got 4 more to go. it'll actually get there. I mean, it doesn't seem to be a time limit, so it's a matter of waiting for it to get to the one pedal to the right of the B, if it'll go there. Nope, we went a different way. Alright, PC. Excellent. I mean, for a kind of crude Big 20 game, this is actually not bad. I would have been happy with this back in 1981. Definitely. Ooh, look at it, stuck on one level. Dun 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 dun. Oh, wow, and I missed. Really? How could I miss? I did it! Yeah! 4 minutes, 44 seconds. Enter a name for Squirrelist. How do you enter a name? Oop. Now let's go for enter character. T for pack rat. What the heck? Done. First place. All right. I'm not sure, but I'm kind of betting no. But it'd be cool if this package actually saved the high scores. I'm kind of willing to bet it doesn't. Won't know, but that's that game. I think back out of that. That was pretty cool. Eflex V. Sure you want to bet? Yes. For now. That was better than ZX Centipede. ZX that 3D game was kind of interesting, but hard to master. Kind of weird the way they have the game down at the bottom there, though. What's next? Rocks. With little else to do but rest and program, Jeff dove into Vic 20, rapidly creating a few games. Soon he created an original game called Rocks, in which a lunar lander on the moon's surface had to shoot down incoming meteors. It proved to be quite fun, and Jeff and his father Patrick both played it a great deal that Christmas. Except I don't think it's on this compilation. Well, there's a later version of it. Notable and quotable. Christmas was rather a subdued affair this year. That, however, recall that Jeff was able to play Rocks lying prone and using the living room telly as a display. In the 82, my first, what? My diary for 21st of March 82 contains the one word llamas, from which I deduced that this was the day that Llamasoft was formed. Patrick Minter, I just thought it. Following a chance meeting with another resident of Hadley, who was looking to get into the burgeoning computer game business, Jeff decided to have a go at selling his games through his own company, rather than create them as works for hire. It was after having paid several quid for a version of Asteroids so mind-numbingly, gut-wrenchingly, and unremittingly awful as to beggar belief that I started thinking to myself, bloody hell, even I could do better than that, and wondering if that was indeed what I should do. I've played enough awful games over the years. Llamasoft logo. The original Llamasoft logo drawn on the VIC 20. VIC 20's graphic editor. I don't remember having a graphic editor. At least not built in. At least he drew the llama, then quickly came up with and added the name of the company. An 8-bit llama. What early cover art? An example of the earliest Llamasoft game cover art, which took the form of a liner for cassette tape. It's funny, it says Llamasoft VIC-20 software, but that looks like a screen created on the ZX81 because it's got more than 22 characters across. Yeah, it does. That's not a VIC-20 screen. I find that funny. Definitely a ZX81 screen. It's like I know my ZX81, man. Definitely do. 82 still a controversial beginning. A fast. Prolific programmer Jeff was able to get several games ready for the summer '82 launch of Llamasoft. These included Rocks, as well as the VIC-20 version of his 3D maze game, but also a new game in which players drop bombs from an aircraft onto a city. This was one of his many clones of the Commodore game Blitz, which itself had been inspired by Atari's game Canyon Bomber. I just remember Canyon Bomber. Falklands War. In April '82, Britain and Argentina had gone to war over a dispute concerning the Falklands. God, I remember that in high school. Jeez. I was not particularly fond of the mess that then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher seemed they'd be getting us into. I certainly didn't believe that it was worth anybody actually getting killed over on either side. Jeff recalled later. Bomb Buenos Aires? Feeling uneasy with the war, Jeff turned his bomber game into an explicit, sardonic political statement, titling the game Bomb Buenos Aires. The building sported Argentina flags, and the game played Rule Britannia when the player was victorious. I guess I thought that it might get us noticed in a tasteless kind of way, and indeed it did. Wow. I'm sorry, but that's funny. Just is. Bomber. There's Bomber in my... Gotta list my screener of games that he did. Kinda looks like Wikipedia's got an error. Because Bomber's not listed. What the heck? Boy, Wikipedia can't be wrong. Oh my god. No, whatever. Here it is. Bomber. Let's check it out. There we go. Ooh, complexity. 1 out of 5 llama. Oh, Zeke's. Maybe I looked at the wrong thing here. Zeke's Spectrum. I was expecting a VIC-20 game. I still don't see it on the list for. Well. Yeah, it's like here. It's like my list looks messed up. It is messed up. I'll close that screen. It didn't copy and paste properly off of Wikipedia. Bomber. Yeah, City Bomber. So going from a VIC-20 game, popping over to ZX Spectrum. City Bomb. Oop. Should stay in the proper screen here. Yeah, political commentary online. Let's see here. Begin playing. Let's see what controls. Ooh, kind of bug your eyes out there. Press I for info else. Enter Llamasoft production. Your blank is in trouble over an enemy city. Ship or whatever it looks like. You must bomb the city flat to land. Oh, okay. I've seen versions of this game. Skill level 1 through 5. I assume 1 being hardest. Let's go for 2. Entry wave 1. Or else would I want to start? Yeah. I've seen versions of this game. Looks like you can only do 1 bomb at a time. So eventually the plane will get lower and lower and lower. If you don't take out all the buildings, you crash into it. Oh, that's a bad shot. Things getting pretty low already. Damn. I'm not used to where it drops the bombs here. Oop. I'm gonna crash. I gotta admit, the ball bouncing game was better than this. This isn't bad, but I played better versions of it. They got a version of this for the... I forget the exact name, but they got a version of this for the 2600. It's rather good. Honestly, God, there's a version of this for the Odyssey 2 that's actually really good. Oh, I'm gonna hit that building. I don't like the fact that you can only drop 1 bomb at a time. Pow! Game over. Wow. I'll give it another go here, but jeez. I guess I'll start out skill level 1. This game is not easy. I can slow the plane down. Oh, looks like the plane goes at 1 speed. Yeah, because other versions of this I've played, dang it, it's so easy to miss. Gotta play versions where you kind of slow up or speed up the plane depending on where you are. This looks like it would be very difficult to actually clear. Not impossible, but not easy. Damn. Pressing the button there is not being super responsive. Gotta get the tall buildings, damn it. Yeah, precisely aiming at tall buildings is not easy at all. Okay. Slightly better. Dang it, get those little stubs. Oh man. I'm not gonna make it. Ah. Game over. Oh man. Well, I played 2 games of that. think that, just for giggles here, I'm kind of, let's do level 5. Bet the game, or the plane goes fast as hell. I keep pressing the wrong button for the bomb. Let's start with. Maybe I'll do better. It's just, but I doubt it. Oops. I think I stuck too early. Just waste the bomb. Can't hit that white building for life. Nail it. There you go. Oh, I don't like missing. Darn it. Got a pile coming up. Wow. Come on, hit the tall ones, man. Oh man, I don't picture making it here. Oh my, nope, missed that one purple one. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, pow. Okay, enough of that one. It's kind of cool, but I gotta make a list of the individual games. That was decent, but actually, I kind of like the one with the. What was that? Rocks. No, not rocks. Deflex V. I like that better. I was like, I thought it was funner. Okay, I gotta leave off here. Bomber. Defender. Oh, I wonder what that is. Could that be a Defender clone? I wonder. Defender. Put on my list of games here. 82. The game that would put Llamasoft on the map began as a clone of the Williams arcade machine Defender. As was customary at the time, Llamasoft at first sold it its unauthorized version by the same title, before quickly changing it to a slightly less problematic Defender. Change the name. We need some kind of megascope or something that would hopefully let us claim some kind of significance in the emerging biz. And back then, in the dawn of time, the way to do that was to produce a version of a popular arcade game and to do it in machine code. The Defender manual. Boy, that's kind of small. I could zoom in, but I'm not gonna. The cassette tape. Oh, another cassette program. Oh, well, look at that. I'm sorry to laugh, but it's like no expense on the label there. What a class, man. Yeah, where are the llamas? I'm like, what the? Yeah, that is a. I'm sorry, I'm just. I'm getting a kick out of that little label there. Wow, man. It's funny you talk about it, but it's not included in the collection here. Oh, man. I don't see it. Kind of a bummer. I was gonna say, looking at the list here, it's like I don't see Defender. Oh, probably because it was a Defender clone. I guess they couldn't do it for copyright infringement. Oh well. Can't win them all. Okay, Llamasoft sells out. What's this? Llamasoft sets up its first trade show booth at the Commodore Computer Show, June 3rd to 5th, 1982, in London. MA copies of Defender on cassette tape sold out the first day of the show, and Jeff's parents ended up having to hastily produce more copies that weekend. I can imagine it. Oh, look at that setup. Wow, Crude and Rude and sold out. It seemed that although Defender was palpably CAC, British slang, I'm guessing, it was actually marginally less CAC than some of the other games were. And so we sold taste pretty much hand over fist the whole time. This was rather good. Well, yeah, imagine that. Original Llamasoft ad. Big 20, big 20, big 20, big 20, big 20, big 20. Arcade quality games for the 20. Defender MC. 10 pounds. Buenos Aires. $4.95. Wow. They're both programs for $12.95. Yeah, I mean, the price ain't bad. So for the time, man. Tracks. The early Llamasoft title Tracks fell into the genre known as paint games. Paint games. You had to cover every line of the screen of in your spacecraft without hitting the enemy ships patrolling the same grid lines. That sounds similar to something that Pack Rat Video Games sells. It does. Let's see. Tracks. Big 20 manual. No llamas. What the? Yeah, it is a bit trash. That's the manual? One page? Wow. Don't think that's on this collection either. Big 20. No, it's not. Let's see. So check your. We got a Rat Man. Pack Rat Man. I can see that. An action game in which the player had to whap falling rats with a hammer. Ratman was one of Jeff Manager's first attempts at something approaching an original game. It was only advertised in a few Llamasoft mail order ads before being pulled from sales, as Jeff wasn't happy with its quality. Ratman didn't look too bad, but by the standards of the day, and featured the somewhat Monty Python-esque death scene where a long arm would appear from the top of the screen to snatch away an unsuccessful player, but it just didn't play very well, no matter how much it tweaked it. Rat Trap ad. Other ones ads. Big 20, big 20, big 20. Only $8.95. No llamas again. What the? Well, at least the. Oop! There's a llama on the label. Right there on the left side. Ah. There's your llama. Much better looking label than the prior game. ZX Spectrum launched in April '82. The Spectrum was the successor to the ZX81 that adds support for color graphics. This important upgrade made it a much more appealing platform for gaming, and Spectrum became one of the more popular British gaming platforms in the 80s. Kind of wish I would have had one back then. I had the 2068, but it wasn't 100% Spectrum compatible, which was annoying as hell. I truly wish Timex would have just made the Spectrum here, but the interesting part, which I kind of mentioned earlier a bit, but I have a Timex 1500, which is the 16-key 6A1 basically, but it comes in that same Spectrum case, but they made the case gray. Same case, same keys and stuff. Yeah, Charlie plays a lot of Spectrum stuff. I mean, it was a UK computer. Pretty good first time. I mean, heck, I mean, they got the Spectrum Next on now, so it's still popular. Interviews. I respect the Spectrum for the positive impact it had on the British computer scene, and its programmers pulled off some prodigious feats of programming to bring games out of it that nobody could have expected from such a comparatively primitive system. But it was not for me. I love my Commodore. I'm like, what? I never had a Commodore computer. Well, I shouldn't say that. I had a Commodore 128 some years ago, but didn't come with any games. I eventually just sold it off. Ooh. Something I can actually play. Rocks 3. The Spectrum version. Yeah, I mean, my list off of the internet, these games are going slightly out of order, but not a problem. Yeah, Chiclet versus Bubble, yeah. I mean, Chiclet's not great, but I'll take that over Bubble buttons. I need... What do we got? Ooh, we got in there. Where's my list here? Got Rocks 3. Super Deflex. One game missing from my list here, but probably here someplace. That we get here. Rocks 3 Spectrum. It is more finely detailed graphics enabled by the Spectrum platform give its version of Rocks a unique look. Well, let's give it a whack here. Complexity 1 out of 5 Llama. 1982 CX Spectrum. Take inspiration from multiple arcade games. Rocks 3 tasks the player with shooting down falling meteors before they impact the lunar surface. Look at that. Saturn. Mini Saturn. What the heck? Okay, how do you aim this thing? Okay, let's pull up the controls. No idea. Oh, fire left. Fire up, fire right. Panic? Whatever that is. I have no idea. Let's see if we figure this out. Fire left. Oh boy, this is... take a little getting used to. Got one, alright. Oh, I missed. Fire. Alright. Fire. Fire. Damn it. Take that. Space rock. Wave 1 complete. Bonus wave in 100. Yeah, 100. What's that mean? Oops. Ah, wrong button. Ain't bad, but gotta admit it's a bit simplistic. Oop, too early. Where you hardly ever shoot upwards. That one was too fast. Oh, fudge. Oh, oh man. Boom. Wow, got a high score. Let's see, how do you... Meet. Boy, beeping is kind of annoying. Let's put my first name in here. Done. High score. Alright. Press into the... Oh, I'm playing that one here. Rocks 3. Whatever happened to 1 and 2, I do not know. Kind of weird the way you don't move the ship in the bottom wall. Oop, I don't want to do that. Take that. And come on, that. This can fire more rapidly than I thought you could. Darn it. I thought that line's supposed to be like a... Well, that thing came too fast. Way too fast. Oh. Oops, too early. That one's fast. Still got it. Alright. I missed. Damn. Much work though. Nope. Oh. Darn it. That one's going too fast. Ugh. Gonna go work. Nice hole there. I just don't get what the deadline is supposed to be. Just there. Ooh. First time I got the shoot up right. You're upwards. Oh no! Oh! It hit me. Wow. Shoot, 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 shoot. Boom. I'm dead. Me. Back rat. I scored. Well. Interesting little game, but after 2 plays, I'll leave it at that. Not bad, but not spectacular. So, look, there's a llama on there again. Ooh, look at that. It's got same thing on both sides. We've recorded on reverse side. Super Deflex. More than a port, Super Deflex on the Spectrum added a variety of new features, including a llama. Ooh, we got a llama in the game. That walked across the screen to clean up excess paddles. Llama. Ooh, 2 out of 5 complexity. Wow. Oh. Look, it's llamas. Finally! Llamas! Level 1 sounds good enough. Question, what the hell am I doing here? Oh, is this yeah, it's that, like the other game I liked on the Big 20. Damn it. This was the Spectrum version. I have to say it plays a little less than the other version. More colorful, but sounds are a bit more simplistic. But dang it. It's hard to get the timing just right. Damn. I keep messing up here. Like, stop it. Honest, thank goodness. Man, it's getting bad. Thing looks like a space invader. Does to me. So where's the llamas? They're supposed to be in here to clean up stuff. Boy, it's gonna take a while here. My aim has been way off. Oh, it's not gonna hit that. I thought I was gonna hit that damn thing. Come on, man. I'm trying to get it right where it hits the 3. I'm off. That was pure luck, but I'll take it. Off again. There's too many of those things there. Too many. I gotta wait for it to get all the way over there. Technically, it should hit it. It's just gonna take that. There it goes. Hit it. Ooh, cool. I'll take that. See if I can get this thing here. For once, I lined it up. It's a matter of it bouncing back to it, which is gonna take a while. Gotta admit, for a Spectrum game, there's not a lot of color in the game. Not sure why, but I hope it would bounce back to the bottom again. But dang, off that one damn block again. Way too many things on this screen. again. Got that then, though. Mm-hmm. That's... There's enough of a delay where it makes it really hard to line them up here. The 20 version was easier. Gotta declare the Vic 20 version was better. I mean, maybe not dramatically, but definitely better though. Hit that thing, yeah. Well done. You want to call it well done? Ooh, more llamas. Alright. Prepare for devilish new level 2. What's it devilish? I don't know. Ah. Ooh. I'm being shot at by something. Am I supposed to dodge that? I don't know. Difficulty timing this again. What was that? Tombstone? Let's wait for a second. What? Did I lose a guy? Not sure. Whoop. Yeah, I'm getting tombstones when I get hit. Darn it. I'm trying to put the pedal on the level when I reach it, and it's like, oh my god, it's like, it's proving to be very difficult. Oh man. Enter your name. I want to. I am the champion. Oh. Wasn't that like a Star Wars tune? Okay. Played one game of that. That was good enough. I prefer the Vic 20 version. Just do. Independence Day. While Llamasoft was beginning to pick up sales and connection, Jeff's relationship with his business partners had soured. He was only entitled to 30% of earnings from his games. With the backing of his parents, Hazel and Patrick, Jeff was able to break from the partnership, going forward independently while retaining the Llamasoft name. Good for him. Andy's attack. What's that one? We're back to the Vic 20 then. Which is cool. Defender was selling well, and an American game publisher called Hessware wanted to release it, retailing an aggressor. Jeff took this opportunity to switch things around for the UK market as well, replacing the human characters with llamas. Hey, llamas, and retailing the game Andy's Attack. This was the first chance the US audience had to get to know the name Jeff mentioned. Now, play it. 1982 Vic 20 complexity 2 out of 5 llamas. Fly over the Andes Mountains in Peru. Player must stop aliens from abducting the llamas. Looks like Defender to me. Let's see. Controls. Use the D-pad, up, down, left, right. Fire, smart button. Rewind. Is that a radar in the bottom? Cause it's kind of like cool radar. Boy, I'm sucking at this. Drop that llama. Oop, well, I got him. Game over. That was way too quick. There's no radar. I mean, it looks like something on the bottom right, but if that's a radar, it's very limited. Yeah, it's a radar. Getting my buttons mixed up here. Yeesh. This game is brutal. Score is 0. Wow. Skill 1 to 10. Damn. Sometimes I have no idea what's hitting me. Game over. Boy, this is tough game. The bullets they shoot out are very. You find them with a background pretty good. That's what that was. Ooh, hey, I made it through a wave. Wow. Bloody heck. Wait, everybody doesn't say game over, it just stops. Score 3400. Yeah, they're shooting little like missiles out of out of those ships, whatever they're called. They blend in with the background. If you look, every now and then I see a quick little white dot moving, and it hits me. There. I mean, when I'm shooting it, you can see right there. You can kind of see it. I mean, my shots kind of make it blend in. The game really needs a radar. It's got a little thing on the bottom right there, but oop, drop that llama. But I think on the bottom right, if that's supposed to be a radar, it's just I'm not sure what it is. It's not a radar. It's not showing what I'm fighting in. That's the biggest problem with this game. It's like Defender really needs the radar. Otherwise, you don't know what's coming up until it hits you. It's really hard to dodge these guys. Not deny, I mean, the concept's interesting, but I'm not quite digging this. Of course, my skill at Defender isn't that good in the first place, so that probably doesn't help. And really. Hit something, man. Not quite the way I want to hit it, but what's happening? Sheesh. I found a game I really suck at. The sound effects are decent, the graphics look good, but man. Instead of putting the Llamasoft name on the bottom, it needs a radar. It does. I can't deny I'm not digging this. Pretty much. It's like thought maybe give a little tip or something. One more try. I think that's decent. It's just ooh, made it. Without getting hit. I'm getting better. Oop. Oops. Focusing. Sound effects actually kind of remind me of the Boot Towns from Doctor Who. Ow. Cut. Poo. Ah, come on, really? Okay. Enough of that game, but interesting. Kind of fun, but incredibly tough. Not bad for a big 20 screen, though. Or a big 20 game, I mean. Ooh, Mama was at the end of the early years. Llamasoft, their early days. Another video. Let's watch it.
When I was in school, I dabbled in lots of various things. I got a skateboard, and I was a skater for a while, really enjoyed that. I wasn't even aware of the link between computers and video games, really. And it's only because I walked into this room one day in college, and there's one guy sat down the end with this weird thing which looked like a telly on top of a typewriter keyboard. Appeared to be playing some kind of crude game on it, and when I was a bit curious, went over and asked him where did that game come from. And he said he types it in. That was the moment that completely changed my life. I really enjoyed the act of programming. I thought that I'd finally found something that I actually had some kind of genuine aptitude for. But out of the whole sixth form college, we only had one machine, which was a Commodore PET. And officially, you had to book up half-hour slots. You could have 1 half-hour slot a day, and that wasn't really enough time for me to get stuff done. I mean, the thing is, back then, the Commodore PET was quite expensive. And I didn't come from a rich family. There's no way that our family could have afforded a computer, and there's no way I individually could afford a computer. I only had pocket money at the time, didn't have a job. And then this item came on the news and showed Clive Sinclair demonstrating the prototype of the ZX80 in some school somewhere. And the idea of actually having your own computer at home was unbelievable. I really, really, really wanted that ZX80. And so eventually got the money together and ordered it. It actually arrived on the same day as my A-level results. And I remember just forgetting all about my A-level results and tearing open the box from Sinclair and spending the rest of the day sat in front of my ZX80, having a wonderful time. The availability of these machines cheap is what really kick-started the software industry, because when other people started having these machines, they wanted software for them. And in fact, that's how I got started, really. I went up to a ZX Micro Fair. I had some tapes with some more simple games I'd done on them. And I got talking to this one guy on the stand for a company called Tronics. And I showed them some stuff, and they said, well, perhaps we could sell it. And I said, that's fantastic. And so I ended up doing some ZX81 programs for them. Nothing caught hold of me the way that programming did. I mean, it was just such a powerful thing. I just wanted to do it all the time. I was actually working quite a heavy schedule, and at the time I was going to Oxford Polytechnic. I was commuting to Oxford from Tadley, which involved like a 7-mile bike ride to the train station, get on the train, another couple of miles, and up a very steep hill to get to the Polytechnic. All day at Polytechnic, back home, and then I was coming back and I was spending my evening hours working on this stuff for Tronics. And then one day at Polytechnic, so I just suddenly felt really, really weak and really sick. And I had like tunnel vision. Then it was obvious that some shit was not right. And they found out I had some condition called pericarditis, which is where it's an inflammation of the lining of the heart, and the heart rubs against it and becomes distressed. And that took me 6 or 7 months to recover from that. It made me very weak for quite a long period of time. I had to have a lot of rest, and one of the things I could do while incapacitated that way, I could still do my programming. I mean, while I was ill, that's when I did some of the work which led to my first Llamasoft games. Llamasoft was formed originally as a partnership between me and these other guys. I've been hanging out with the son of a guy who owned the local video store in Tadley, and him and his dad, they said, why don't we form a company together and sell some of your games? You've been ill, you've got to look after yourself. We'll look after all the business stuff. And we started doing stuff together. When we first started out, I was doing what everybody else was doing, just copying arcade games. On the VIC-20, I did this game called Defender with an A on the end, because that's how everybody used to avoid copyright back then, so they thought. And then Atari started throwing their weight around and threatening people. We thought we'd better at least make it so it doesn't say Defender anymore. So we changed the name of the game to Andy's Attack. Andy's as in the mountain range. Instead of rescuing humans, you rescued little llamas. It was a pretty crappy version, a chunky character-based scroll, and the ship was the size of a bus and handled about as well. These other guys who had a big deal of they wanted to have 70%. I naively thought, oh, well, maybe that's a good deal. I don't fucking know. And I mentioned this to my mum. My mum was like, absolutely no way was this going to happen. And she insisted on meeting up with people, and it was like, it's going to be 50-50 or not at all. But it became apparent they weren't going to negotiate. They wanted to have 70%. So we ended up splitting, quite acrimoniously. I remember. And Llamasoft became basically our family business, with starting out with me and being my mum. My mum doing a lot of the admin, sort of business side of things, and me just doing all the programming.
I'm gonna take a quick 5 here, because I can. Continue. Chapter 2, The Hairy Years. A string of hits, yeah, I can imagine. Exploding popularity of computer games in the UK and a wide open playing field for software entrepreneurs was a massive window of opportunity for a talented, prolific designer like Jeff Minter. Llamasoft was about to hit its stride. Oh god. It's like, without T, there would be no Llamasoft, no coding, and indeed no British software business at all. Lines of code flow out upon a river of T. This marvelous substance lubricates and stimulates the synapses and helps them fire in a manner conductive to the generation of practical and robust code. Okay. One thing I personally, I can't stand tea. That's just me. Not a tea guy. Just don't like the taste. Ooh, what do we got? Our abductor. Okay, now we're back on the area of the charter here. A simple shooting game with elements drawn from several of the arcade games that Jeff loved. Abductor with like 20 test players with shooting down spiraling waves of extraterrestrials while projecting a row of humans at the bottom of the screen from abduction. Get back to that moment. Unexpanded attempting to paint Jeff Pinter as a pure following his own arcade-inspired muse. His designs were also driven by market considerations. While he would have preferred to use the 8K RAM expansion that Andy's attack required, he realized that most VIC-20 owners did not own the required add-on. He created Abductor specifically for the unexpanded system. Yeah, because when I had the VIC-20, I didn't have a RAM expansion. I don't remember it having an 8K RAM. Coffee, yeah. Coffee, tea. I like coffee, but you know, many people I've told I can't handle coffee. The caffeine just kills me. Oh, it gives me too much anxiety. Abductor cassette tape. Ooh, it's got a llama on it. Wow. In 3D. Why am I getting kicked out of this? I don't understand. Abductor. Oh, let's give it a whack. Taking cues from multiple popular games. If an alien abducts a human, shoot them down to free them. Lose all your humans and the game is over. Oh no. Complexity, 1 out of 5 llamas. Wow. 1982 VIC-20. Oh. Hey, oh boy. Holy mackerels. This game is quick. Oh, leave my human alone. God, come on, man. Oh. I don't think he sure was hitting me when I... Come on. Drop that human. Drop it. Drop it. Oops. Skulls are bad. Okay. It always bugs me when a game doesn't say game over. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah. Pew. I just gotta realize I can press the fire button rapidly. Which I didn't realize at first. Ah! I don't quite get how it's getting me when it comes to the bottom like that. Like that. How's that? I guess when you get to the bottom, avoid him. Drop that human. Oh, I can't go all the way to the left. What the? Cheat. See, it doesn't go all the way to the left, so how am I? He grabs the guy to the left, I can't rescue him. Can't go all the way to the right either. No, drop. Ow. Damn. I'm not quite getting how I'm dying that way. I think it's grabbing a human when I get close. When it gets close. attacked by a bunch of soccer balls. Drop that human. Drop it, drop it. Oh, one human left. Hey. You know, I'm not sure what's hitting me there. Yeah, it's very fast. Not a bad game. It reminds me of a bit of Attack of the Time Lord on the Odyssey too. A bit. They're both hard games. Drop that human, drop it. Oh. Grab it. Grab it. Ooh. Extra shooting capability. That's cool. No! That was close. I can honestly say that this gets better when you get past the first wave. This multiple firing is making it funner. God, yeah. Whoop. Oh, man. Holy mackerels. Ooh, I think that's it. Yep. That was funner. Okay, yeah, my opinion of the game has gone up. You just gotta get past that first level. I'll give it another go here. Drop it, drop it. Ooh. Drop them. Drop, drop. Oh, God, come on. There we go. No! Oh, zooming neck. Oh, that was terrible. Too close to him and game over, probably. Yeah. That's interesting. Am I gonna play anymore? Nah. It's interesting, but not that low again. Not bad. Tough, but not bad. I would have been happy with that back in the day. Unexpected inspection. Jeff visited London in September '82 to find the city plastered in posters for the then new film Blade Runner. Hey, cool. He didn't see the movie at the time, but the name got him thinking. Before long, the phrase Grid Runner popped into his head. Oh, now he just needed a game to go with it. Oh my God. Starting points. Haven't developed an inaccurate but still fun version of Centipede for X81. Jeff looked again to that beloved arcade game for inspiration. The name Grid Runner suggested something more futuristic and less bug themed. So the first thing Jeff Maynard did was sit down and design a font that could get that feeling across with the game's logo. Yeah, it's got a It's got a movie theme kind of logo going on there. For me, part of the initial phase of creating a game was sitting down with the character editor and coming up with a font to suit the game. It set the stage for everything that followed and helped me give a game its identity. I know the game's on there, but not yet. Commodore VIC-20, excuse me, 64. The successor to the VIC-20, Commodore 64 would become one of the most popular platforms in the world in the 80s. J. Bela Krishnan, founder of Llamasoft's U.S. publisher Hessler, gave Jeff one of these machines shortly after its U.S. release, before it was released in the UK. Yeah, I mean, I was an Apple II guy. I did not have a 64, so I do. I still gotta play around with it. I actually went out and got a. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah. I got a Commodore 64 Mini, which I plan on using for future streams. Why? Because I can. Rock 64. Good riddance coming up. Rock 64. Once Jeff got his Commodore 64 set up, he took a break from the work of a good runner and programmed Rock 64 in a single night, just to test out the new machine. This became one of Llamasoft's initial batch of Commodore 64 releases in early '83. Rocks. I don't see any llamas on the artwork here. What's up with that? Oops, skip a whack here. Rock 64 by Jeff Durr. That's all is shooting in the corners again, I think. Oop, yep. Well, how much stuff comes at you directly. Darn. Yeah, I'd say it plays a little better than the VIC-20 version. Still relatively simplistic though. If I just play one game of this, it's not much different than what I've played before. Ah! Excessive seismic activity. Oh man. That was kind of quick. Oop. Oop. That was kind of short. Maybe I'll play one more of it. What was that? The hell? Was I actually supposed to land it? The first time I played it, I didn't have to land it. That's weird. Kind of like the way the meteorites get louder as they get closer. And stop missing. No way of getting that one. Ah! What the heck? Done for. Oh, that's not bad. That version of that game. Ooh. This is the one. This is the game I had on the VIC-20 back in 82 or 83. Excellent game. Jeff Benner created the VIC-20 game Gridrunner, which would become his first big international hit in just 1 week. A hardcore twist on the gameplay formula of Centipede with a sci-fi flair. Gridrunner played at a furious speed and included zappers along the screen axes that would swiftly neutralize a distracted player. I don't remember it being on cassette tape when I had the VIC-20. Yeah, like a C64 version here too. That I have not played. Cassette for the. I could have sworn I had it on a cartridge for the VIC-20. What's the name? The title of the game changed from Gridrunner. Oh, no space. Gridrunner. Because there was not enough space on the screen to put a space between the words and the logo. That's the VIC-20 limitation. Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw me playing this back in the 80s. I liked this a lot on the VIC-20. As I mentioned earlier, it's one of the things I missed after I sold off my VIC-20. Now I can play it again. American success. Although Hessware was not particularly interested in a book or tracks, the staff all loved Gridrunner and asked Jeff to quickly prepare a version for the Hessware that Hessware could sell on a ROM cartridge. Yeah, that I had it on a ROM cartridge. Gridrunner for the VIC-20 became a hit in the US market, and Hessware quickly asked Jeff for the Commodore 64 version as well. Jeff models a Gridrunner t-shirt. I don't remember there being one back then, but what do I remember? Well, let's go for the VIC-20 version here first. I don't promise to be any good at this, but I haven't played this in a long time. I do remember it being rather good. Let's see what are the controls here. Thumb pad. B for fire. Got a rewind option, but I think that's just an extra feature that the original version didn't have, which I'm not going to use. Ooh. It's going to take a little bit getting used to this. I got the good one. Yeah, basically it's very Centipede-ish, but different and difficult. Yeah, you may not have seen me playing this. Like I said, I only had the VIC 20 for 3 months, so very short time. I remember having this game, and I remember having a game called Apple Panic on the VIC 20. I remember in the 3 months I had the VIC 20, I played this a lot. Of course, now Ruster is hell of a game. What does have auto fire? That's cool. It is a tough game. I mean, it worked pretty good on the VIC 20 screen, even with the limitations it had. But I remember selling the VIC 20 to a friend of my dad's for his daughter. She wanted a computer, and I offered it cheap for what I paid for it. But I'm pretty sure I got it was on when I was on discount. I might have paid like $100 for the VIC 20. I didn't pay a lot. Nail it, man. Oof. Right into the beam. Last guy. Funny it says min left, but it should be ships. So. Wow. Something I definitely remember is so much going on the screen at once. Game over, oh man. 1982 JCM. Jeff. Middle initial C. Let's give another whack here. Oops. Got myself cornered. Gotta admit, I think it's a little difficult to play with the Nintendo controller. This game needs an actual joystick, I think. Which one of these days I'm gonna get one set up down in the basement here. Nail that little guy. Oops. What, did I make it? Didn't seem like it. Oof. Keep getting caught in that beam. That. Oof. That was just too quick. And too much. Boy, that's over quick. Definitely rusty on that. Well, we'll back out of that. I'm kind of interested to see what the Commodore 64 version looks like. 2.5 complexity, 1983, Commodore 64. Definitely more screen real estate for the text. Okay, definitely looking screen. Surprised it didn't use more of the screen. Actually, I wonder here. Original. Oh. That's where I like it. Definitely improved sound effects, of course. Oops. Darn it. Good for that work too. Oop. 3 ships lost. Oop. Click on shit. Game over, man. Oh, high scores. What the? Oh. Stop for a second here. Oof. No, that frame is part of the emulation of the. Well, I mean, the collection emulates the old computers and stuff. I changed it a bit because the original was like that. I did full screen too, actually. I think you can. I can turn the border off if I want to. It gives you options. TV filter, no TV filter. Yeah, some way to see it here. I turned it off in the moment. I gotta stop for a minute again. I freaking bladder's acting up. Still taking a breather here for a second. A little bit of yogurt because I'm hungry. Snack time. Common 64 version. I'm back out The 64 version's a pretty good version of Gridman. A little better, maybe. The 20 version, but not dramatically, though. But yeah, the compilation has different settings for the screen. So you can even add a CRT filter to make it look a CT. I just changed the settings though, because I gotta be honest, I wasn't quite digging that simulated TV thing. Rather just have it full screen more. Let's get a little over here while I'm eating a little bit here. I can watch a little video. What the hell? I was saying I could watch a video. Gridrunner Evolution's Gridrunner was a big hit in the UK and US alike, watching Llamasoft into a new level of success. In the 40 years since then, Jeff has revisited his signature game numerous times, updating and improving it for new platforms. And that's the only bad thing about this Jeff Mentor collection, at least bad in my opinion, is it doesn't include any Gridrunner version past the Atari Jaguar game when it came out. So like Gridrunner Plus or Plus Plus or beyond that, it's not on this compilation. I wish it was, but it's not.
So yeah, they've got this guy building on what he's done before, trying new things. I don't think he'll be trying to figure out a formula or a grand design that evolves. It'll all be instinct. His gut will be telling him, I'm going to try this. And then there is that lovely, holy moment where it all joins together into one thing. And for Jeff, that was Gridrunner.
It was sort of like Centipede. It was based off Centipede. But I got to the point where I enjoyed putting my own spin on things. I was no longer content just to try and copy an arcade game. I wanted to do something else. I like the idea of the shooting things creates obstructions which then alter the path of things to come. And that does happen in Gridrunner to an extent. I put lasers and stuff in and made it much broader.
1 second. I'm gonna be right back, guys. That was odd. I heard like a big guy's size clunk outside the house. I had no idea what that was. Didn't see a damn thing, but it was louder than hell though. I'm gonna have to video start where I left off, or oh well, goes back a bit. That's fine.
So yeah, they've got this guy building on what he's done before, trying new things. I don't think he'll be trying to figure out a formula or a grand design that evolves. It'll all be instinct. His gut will be telling him, I'm going to try this. And then there is that lovely, holy moment where it all joins together into one thing. And for Jeff, that was Grid Runner.
It was sort of like Centipede. It was based off Centipede. But I'd got to the point where I enjoyed putting my own spin on things. I was no longer content just to try and copy an arcade game. I wanted to do something else. I like the idea of the shooting things creates obstructions which then alter the path of things to come. And that does happen in Grid Runner to an extent. I'd put lasers and stuff in and made it much more of a space theme than a garden theme. And in Grid Runner, every time the laser pulses, all the obstacles on the field advance one level of evolution, and they've got a maximum of 6 they can go through, and then they turn into a bomb and fall down. It was a nice game. I thought it was quite nice. It took me a week start to finish. And we had a contract to sell the game in the US. I think it was one of the first Commodore shows. And this American guy in a suit came and was looking at what everybody was doing there, and came over to us and said to me, "We like Andy's attack, and could you put that on a cartridge for us to sell in the US?" True to his word, he went back and I figured out how to put the game on a cartridge, and they started selling it. And it sold okay, but it got our foot in the door over there, and they wanted more games. So I made Grid Runner, and I sent out a copy to the guy in the US. And here's what I've just done. I was woken up from sleep by the phone ringing, and I got up, and it was like 3:30 in the morning, something like that. I better go out and see what's what. The phone rings, and the guy goes, "That game's amazing, we've been playing it for like 8 hours, I can't believe how good it is." So you're probably going to make some decent money off this. I'm like, "Oh, okay. And I went back to bed, and back to sleep, woke up in the morning, thought, was that just a dream I had last night about somebody ringing me up and saying I'm going to make some money? And thankfully I'd written down on the pad by the phone what had been said. So. And sure enough, they did a great job of selling that game. I think it got to #1 on at least one of the US software charts at some point, and made us a fair bit of money. I think that was the point where my parents realised that something was really up. Maybe this is going to work out quite well. We've done so many of them, really. We did Grid Runner on the 8-bits, that was more or less just plain Grid Runner we had on the VIC-20, except with different resolutions. Then I did Super Grid Runner on the ST and Amiga, that was controlled with a mouse, and you had like a detachable nose cone which you could place in one part of the screen, and then you could move to another side, and they'd both be firing, and you could use the right mouse button to retrieve it at any time, a bit like the nose cone in R-Type. Then we had Grid Runner on the Pocket PC. Yeah, the thing there was you had to rescue sheep that were coming down the screen.
Yeah.
And if you got killed, then the pieces of your wreckage would start to fall down, but if you managed to guide them onto the back of a sheep, then you get a sheepy save and come back to life. And that actually came from a bug. That came from a bug where if you died, then it would act as if you'd picked up the sheep when you hit it. And I thought, it started happening quite a bit. I thought, that's actually quite a nice mechanic, so that when you die, you can retrieve yourself. Grid Runner Revolution. There's a lot more stuff going on in there. It's a much more advanced game in some ways. I ripped off sounds from just about all my favourite 1980s arcade games, because I wanted it to sound like a 1980s arcade room. You know that feeling when you walk in and there's just all these sounds going off all around you? That's what I want to sound like playing Grid Runner, because it's supposed to be an evocation of an arcade game that never existed. It's done in the style of a Namco coin-op, so it needs that same kind of atmosphere around it. I think the Grid Runner on the iPhone it's simpler than some of the other versions, but it's very pure, it's very arcade-like, and it's lovely. I think the most recent version, by taking Gridrunner back to its roots and then just building a few simple enhancements, I think I've come up with a better game. Because your power-up stack, I mean, you start out, you just got to pew, pew, pew out the front, and that gets a bit faster as you shoot things, so you pew, pew, pew a bit faster. And you get various little tiles that power you up, and they may give you 4-way pew, 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 or something like that for a little bit, but you get the stacking effect. So you can have 3 or 4 of these things come together, and then suddenly you're just this intense fire flower of like shots just bursting out and flooding the whole thing. You just feel like a god for a few seconds, and it's nice. So it makes you, it keeps you tied into the game. It makes you, it gives you a little rush of like, sort of little touch of euphoria there to help you along your way.
That's where I wish more versions of Gridrunner were in this compilation, but they're not. What are you gonna do? There's supposed to be another version of Gridrunner on here, but I don't see it at the moment. It's supposed to be the 8-bit version on here. Headbanger's Heaven. Which one's that? Headbanger's Heaven. There it is. Six Spectrum game. Get there. It's over 3 hours. Billed as a game for the heavy metal fiend, Headbanger's Heaven was less about music and more about a guy named Chico who enjoyed being hit on the head with heavy metal hammers. The original VIC-20 version was released in '82 with this Spectrum version following in '83. Yeah, I think I've seen somebody play this online recently. Oh, I think Charlie played this, I think. Pretty certain. Yeah, I remember seeing it. Well, here I am playing it. Prepare yourself there, run. I didn't get hit in the head. My skull hurts. Doesn't move very quick, does he? No, he doesn't. So I didn't get hit in the head or what? Initially, I'm not impressed. It's like the movement is too erratic. Okay, kind of getting it. Bam, bam. Weird. Game over. What the? I hit my head there at the end. Why is it game over? I don't get it. Whoop. Ah, what the hell? That didn't work the way I wanted to. Prepare yourself. God bless it. So skull hurts when he doesn't get hit? Why is there a little picture of a pound over there? Yeah. Dee dee. Prepare yourself there, one. Get over there. Ugh. And the movement's sluggish. Where we're putting it. Come on. Some hammers here. I got enough of them. Damn it. If I moved it right, I wouldn't go. Game over. Interesting concept. I'm not gonna play anymore. Not bad, but I wouldn't call it good. Because it's not. It's okay. That's 83 set. It came out before Gridburner. Figure that one out. Longer here or not. What time is it? 10 p.m. Central Time. Attacking a mutant camels. When I was considering what to do with first on the Camera 64, images of giant camels came to mind. Giant laser spitting camels. I want to do some kind of sculling game for my first C64 outing. It's 90-foot high neutronium shielded laser spitting mutant camels. Doom. Rather than use single sprites, I decided to use 4 of them all bolted together. It must be said that these large sprites severely overtaxed my eager artistic capabilities. BC is real and virtual. A little video.
I like living in the countryside. I ended up buying this little house in Wales. In this beautiful little valley. I wanted to have a bit of space for beasties, really. Nice spotty ears. I like to keep pet sheep. When you're getting stressed out in front of the machine and you're indoors all day, and it's so nice just to be able to like go out and take a stroll in the field. You can't really be stressed out around sheep. Morning, Jerry.
Like Minter will like go off to, feed the sheep in the morning and do a nice 10-minute long Twitter video of him just feeding crackers to his sheep.
I'm sure you've seen Jeff's legendary sheep time videos that he does. Just let's go out and mooch with the sheep in the morning. Well, we can stream it from anywhere on the farm because we've got a Wi-Fi network all across the fields. And it's the perfect Geek 7, isn't it? It's like, I'm surrounded by green fields, but I've got Wi-Fi. What more do you need?
Jeff's living this gentle, suburban, modest sort of lifestyle where like his greatest indulgence is like sheep or like llamas, having, this handful of animal companions.
I got the llamas in 2001. I got a pair of llamas then, but one of them died last year. We found out at the time he was probably one of the oldest llamas in Britain. He was like 25 years old, which is an extremely good age for a llama. The whole llama thing came about basically because my parents had one of these Time Life books about South America that had a nice illustration of a llama in it. I like the look of the llama. It's like an interesting beastie, and I used to reference it in some of my early work. When I was thinking of a name for the software company, I'd written a little program on the VIC-20 which effectively let me draw on a little square of characters. I could draw like a little high-res design. I drew this little llama in there, and I wrote underneath it Llamasoft with 3 exclamation marks after it. I thought, "Yeah, that's what I'm going to call my software company. It's going to be called Llamasoft."
Jeff is extremely unique in what he's done from day one. Jeff, from the very beginning, I think, knew what great gameplay was. And he throws a bunch of beasties in there and put his own trademark on it.
But I didn't really go into the games that much until Attack of the Mutant Camels. Again, it's based on somebody else's game. I'd been to Winchester. There was a little video game shop in there. I can't remember what my parents were doing down there, but while I was just hanging out in town while they were there, I went in the shop, thought I could play some of they had VCS games in there, and they had the Parker Brothers Empire Strikes Back game. And it's fairly crude, but they've got these big blocky walkers that walk along. And I played it. Didn't at that point think camels. The camels thing came when I saw a review of that game in computer video games, and they described these walkers as being like giant mechanical camels. And I thought, actually, you could do a game like that, but why not have them be giant mutant camels? It was a bit rough. The camels looked like 2 fat guys in a camel pantomime costume, and the scrolling was very chunk res. I hadn't really worked out at that point how to do the fine scrolling on the Commodore 64. That sort of set the direction. Things kind of went from there, really. That was what Llamasoft was going to be. We were going to be the people who did these games with these weird animals in.
Well, my favorite Jeff Minter game is Revenge of the Mutant Camels. So I remember the first time I loaded it up, and I was like, what the hell is this? Am I controlling a camel? And the camel is shooting. I was expecting a ship or whatever, because back in those days, camel was not the protagonist of a game until Jeff came along. And I think that's really, really cool and makes him unique, and his game's unique as well. And it taught me that there is no limits when it comes to making games. You can do whatever you want. And Jeff showed me that.
Interesting info. Llamasoft's first proper Commodore 64 game. And the second to prominently feature large furry beasties. Let's give it a whack. 2 out of 5. Llama Complexity, 1983, Commodore 64. Horizontal shoot 'em up in which the players must shoot down a slowly advancing line of genetically modified 90-foot high laser shooting camels. AMC. Camel collision, no. Change it if you want. See what the controls are here. Let's see, up, down, left, right. E of fire weapon. Simplistic enough. Okay, where are the camels? Oh, there they are. Yeah, how do you hit it? Oop. Just keep shooting until it blows up, I guess. Where's the radar on top? Just changing colors. Oh. Changing the missiles to guided. Well, I got one camel. Oh. Blang. We got a file ways to get to it. I assume he's probably supposed to go to the one in front. Yeah, better. I forgot about that. You gotta get the ones on the front of the battlefield first. Which means flying through the rest of them. No, you don't. No, 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 no. No. God bless it. I'm right into it. Ugh, I'm kind of sucking at this. Instead of way in the back. Wait. Yep. Pretty hard to avoid these shots. The one in front. Take it out. Take it out. One camel down. Easier to get from the backside. Oop. Ah! Took up the edge of the screen. Okay. Just weird. Player options. D behind the game. Flat small. Translate the paperwork. Get all my gold here for now. Not an easy game at all. I went too far. Damn. I gotta go over this front again. That's not the way to go. Just getting to the front's no deal. At least at that level, I'm not gonna shit. Whoop, too far. Blow him up, yeah. One camel down, 5 to go. I should shoot him. Alright. Not quite. That's so close to the right side though. It's gonna make it, dude. Nope. Tough game. Damn tough. Cool, fun, but tough. Need more practice with that game. I think with that, I mean, I didn't expect to get to all this in one night. I'm gonna call it on the Jeff Minter collection for tonight. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for lurking, chatting. Thanks for putting up my Bluetooth freaking bathroom breaks tonight, but there's reasons behind that. Which I will not get into on a stream. Gonna raid? Not sure. Let's see here. Rex. Yeah. Actually, I thought I was streaming later too, but just playing a generic game or two. But yeah, for now I'm gonna stop. Get something a little more substantial. Serving a yogurt. Raid. Where's the raid button? It's not used to this. Raid channel. Back out of this for now. Raid. Mr. X. Yeah, what the heck? Start the raid.